Before it, all right. Before it had never been an option. It just always worked. Now let's try Facebook Live. See how that works. So far, so good. How exciting. Things working out. Okay. All right. Cool. Now, let's get started with what's planned for today. All right. Okay, first we're going to screen share. Screen share. Okay. I was looking through my writings over the weekend, and I need some water. And I came across this, which I really liked, and made it the foundation for what we're going to be looking at today. We'll see now how it all goes. Okay. This was a blog post that I made some time ago. Not that long ago, but creating your A game. I just saw a quote that captivated me. There's no plan B for your A game. It turns out to be the book title for Bo Eason's book. I'd just been thinking of writing about eliminating, what is this? About eliminating punishment. Punishment is kind of a plan B for parents, like what to do when your kids don't do what you want them to do, in the way you want them to do it, and when you want them to do it. That's supposed to be a major parent A game. Getting your kids to behave, which basically means what I said in my last sentence. Do what you want them to do, how and when. So punishment is the plan B, not ensuring success, not making success the only option, not playing your A game. Well, what if we make success the only option? What if we also make the whole thing more realistic? What if we go for agreement? Agreement is a realistic possibility. It's been achieved repeatedly over many years of going for it. Kids seem to take to it as if they were born to do it. Are you ready to stop punishing kids right now? Are you ready? Are you willing to go for agreement instead? Agreement which means they willingly agree to something you willingly agree to. Could you go for that and give up your plan B? You know punishment doesn't feel good, not to you, not to your kids. And I guarantee that once you've started finding agreements, you are all going to feel good. They are going to behave in ways that are agreeable to you. Your A game, success for both of you. Think about it, then do it. Surely you found agreement with someone in your life. Use that time or those times as your model. You can do this. You deserve this. And so do your kids. It improves your life above and beyond what you can even imagine right now. Right now, I am promoting how to have an A game with 2-year-olds. And actually, that is getting put up. It's now a home study course. At this time, it was going to be a live training. Anyway, it's in the process of getting put onto the new website. It is on the archived website. Anyway, so let's go on here. Here's another blog post. Making agreement work. I've been giving lots of thought, at least regular thought these days, to the one rule, even more than usual, because this weekend I'm going to be speaking on this topic. That's when I wrote this post, when I did speak on the topic. It went really, really well too. I get to choose whatever topic I want concerning peace in the family. And of course, the one rule is my topic of choice. Every day I've been having different internal conversations concerning this that I love so much. Today I've thought of it from a different point of view. I've thought of it from the point of view of someone who wants to do this, but is not familiar with how to do it, and actually has been practicing very different ways of being with the children in their life. Now that I've started writing, I realize that some of this focus has been floating in my mind in general. My experience with creating harmony with kids, which is really what this is all about, was really flow and easy. I was not a punishing parent. It was not in me to do. That's not logical because my parents were definitely into punishing. I guess it was my bonding with Montessori, and by that I mean my particular bonding with Montessori. I can't speak for other Montessori trained people. To a certain extent, the empowerment of the best that is in each child is built into the Montessori method. Discovering and exploring this helped me in creating my own trainings. The way I bonded with Montessori, deeply appreciating the value of childhood and the importance of the child's work, and the importance of that work in helping create our world, seemed to ensure that I did not punish my children. So I never had to transition from that to harmony. I had a lot to learn, but not that. I guess if your desire to find or develop or increase the harmony you have with your kids, if that desire is strong, That will help you transition out of punishing by refocusing on harmony. Agreement can help. Maybe knowing that there is a way to help your kids grow into the awesome human beings it is in them to grow into. Knowing that you can help instead of hinder them could empower you to use the one rule. It still feels strange to use the concept of a rule. It's so contrary to much of the way I've lived my life. But I am so grateful to have discovered the one rule, and it can be so helpful to you and your kids. One of the benefits of the one rule is how simple it is. Though powerful, think of how much more powerful merging atoms is to splitting them. Think of the power of harmonious teamwork. If you can remember agreement, that's your touchstone. You may go off track, no worries. Just get back on track as soon as possible. Keep that in mind. I'm sure you can find your way. Your children will help you, especially if you ask them. The last two people I've coached and mentored were able to adopt this approach fairly quickly, though it had not been familiar to them. As you may already know, on my website, you can get, oh, that's not true anymore. This, but what you can get, which is even better than chapter 1 of the one rule, what you can get is a mini version of, let's see, what is it? The One Rule to Raising Happy Kids. That's the ebook now, not just the one rule. And it has the training. The mini version has a few lessons from the training. And if you go to the new website, which is happykidsco.org, if you go there, then you can become a member of the Happy Kids member site, and then you get everything. The only thing you don't get is what you do get if you join one of the groups. Then you get weekly access to me on a Zoom call, and a Facebook group. So anyway, so I had to say all that because what it says here, it wasn't accurate. Okay, raising happy, harmonious kids is the goal. Let's do it. Okay, this was the next one that I came up with. I think we'll go here. Do you have a 2-year-old in your life? Do you have a baby in your life who one day will be 2 years old? Is someone in your life pregnant? You are going to love having learned how to create and keep harmony with them. Harmony with your 2-year-old. This is the home study course I talked about. This is just a blog post I wrote about it. There are many reasons why this period of human development is so difficult for the adults in the life of a 2-year-old. They've just gone through babyhood. There may be difficulties, but they are so easy to love. Then they become an often delightful toddler, exploring so much for the first time and taking delight in everything. And you don't have to carry them everywhere. Now they are two, more or less. They are much steadier in their walking. They can even run. So far, so good. If you want to keep in harmony with them, please understand what their developmental blueprint has in store for them and intend to work with it to help them and you through this fast-paced period of development. During this time, they must do everything in their power to develop a healthy, well-functioning willpower. This means that developmentally, they must want and wish, be determined, committed, act, persevere. I emphasize the word must because this is what is so helpful to understand. They must. It's not like they have a choice. They have about 1 year to shift from only following their developmental blueprint, which ensures they walk, talk, and develop so many other skills and abilities, to making their own choices, a new requirement of their developmental blueprint. This is the period they begin doing that. That is why this is so challenging for adults. Adults are used to being in charge and making the decision. When it's time to go, they just pick up the baby or toddler and off they go. The little one might protest at times, but are easily refocused on something else. Not so the 2-year-old. They have important work to do, a valuable skill to develop. It takes constant practice for the whole time of this development, the whole time this developmental window is open. And if you happen to pick them up while they are practicing being determined to do or have something, or if they are persevering in their determination to complete something, you are in for some major resistance. Nothing personal. It's just that you didn't realize what was going on and you stepped in front of some fast-moving, powerful momentum. The momentum of the creative force in the developmental blueprint as expressed through your 2-year-old. Understanding this makes it possible to create harmonious interactions with your 2-year-old. If you are used to making the decisions, chances are you are going to find this a challenging developmental period. It will take awareness and paying attention on your part if you want to maintain harmony. It isn't really difficult, just different from what you're used to. If it matters to you, you need to pay attention to your child's choices. Which aspect of willpower are they working on? If you notice that they are making a choice that you don't agree with, you can easily distract them toward something that you do agree with. If they are practicing being determined or persevering, your choice is going to have to be amazingly attractive for them to willingly change their focus. Think of how valuable willpower is to us in our lives. Imagine if we had practiced making choices since we were 2. By now we'd be making great choices. Think of how important determination and perseverance are in our lives. I'm sure you want your 2-year-old to develop a healthy, well-functioning willpower. I'm sure you want to help your 2-year-old develop a healthy, well-functioning willpower. Warning: if you don't like the following statements, you are not going to like this course. So don't waste your money. 1, we are each important. 2, we each deserve solutions we agree with. 3, we can figure out a way to do this. However, if you like this, if it's easy for you to agree with these statements, and you want harmony with a 2-year-old, then you are going to love this course. This morning I was thinking about why I'm doing this, and I want to share that with you. I want to see children enjoying their lives, and I want to see people being kind to each other. Those are my 2 big whys. When I say I want this, I mean I want this. I want this so much. I've dedicated much of my life to this. Noticing what I don't want, asking why this happens, receiving an answer, living the answer. That took a lot of years of observation, experimentation, discovery, and acting on all this. Then spending years and years of figuring out how to share what was revealed, starting with the book and now this. Then there are specific whys about 2-year-olds. This is such an important period of human development. It's one of the big transitions in our lives, from babyhood to childhood. The next big one is teenager, from childhood to adulthood. I'd always believed that if the 2-year-old transition goes well, then so will the teen transition. Then one day, I was talking with a neighbor who is a school assistant principal, and she said exactly that. How the 2-year-old transition goes is an indication of how the teen transition will go. So let's make it go well. Go to, this is the original link. Wow. www.happykidsco.com. The new website is org, and it'll have a link there too. That's what's getting put together now, plus some other things. You'll be able to buy everything from the new one, not have to, unless you have to go to the old site, then there'll be a link on the new site. Okay. /get2year YR. And I'll see you in one of the bonuses. Well, we'll see how this is for study. Let's see, I'm going to keep reading for right now. One of my favorite things about the one rule is its flexibility. Although it is a rule, it is to the benefit of all involved. I love that. You just have to come to agreements, even if that agreement is to agree to disagree. As long as those involved agree to that, then you are still following the one rule. The main problem develops because many adults are not used to coming to agreements with kids. They are used to telling kids what to do, or more often, what not to do. But once they discover how enjoyable following the one rule is and what delightful results occur, they can get over their programming. Besides babyhood, the only developmental period where following the one rule takes a slightly different form is with 2-year-olds. Now, one thing I would like to tell you, that's as far as we're going on this right now, is that in, I'm pretty sure you get this when you sign up and get the mini version of the One Rule to Raising Happy Kids. But for sure, it's in the main book, which you can get. And the thing is, joining the member site, if you join the member site, that's one of the many things you'll get. And joining the member site is only $1.99 a month. That's all. And you get so much in there. All the books, ebooks, well, the book, actual physical book, no, you don't get, but you can get an ebook version of it. And the trainings, they're all in there. It's crazy. But I really want everyone to have access to this. And I know that's crazy too, but I do. And so this is how I'm doing it at this point. This is how I'm doing it. But the mini version, I'm almost positive has this lesson in it about working with babies and 2-year-olds, because I wanted to make it possible for someone to just sign up and get everything they need to use the One Rule in their lives. So, okay, let's see if we can just go on. I have a couple of slideshows, probably familiar to you. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna move this. Let's open this one up. And we'll get started. I'm gonna try this because it is the beginning. Welcome to Karen Ryce's Raising Happy Kids Zoom show. Intro to Creating Peace and Harmony with the One Rule. I haven't done this for a while. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I bring up the One Rule. The One Rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. Using the One Rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. You find a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Knowing and following the One Rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the One Rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. The One Rule starts strong. You have decided that you really want harmony with your child. That sounds so good, right? Everyone feeling good and getting along. You've decided that you do not want to make your child do what they do not want to do. And you do not want to do what you do not want to do. And you are going to make this work. You've decided that you want to use the One Rule to make this happen. This is going to become your new habit. You remember that when you use the one rule, you're sharing the following messages with your kids. I want us all to be happy. We are each important. Together we can solve our problems. I believe in you. I love you. To create this new habit, you're going to start with yourself and what you want. You decide that you are going to let how you feel about a situation determine whether you agree with it or not. If it feels good, then you can agree with it. If not, you cannot. Think about a situation. Ask yourself, is this situation okay with me just as it is? If yes, your work on that is done. If no, what would have to change, be different, so that I could feel good about it? Maybe several versions of this situation would feel fine with you, maybe only one. This exercise, this practice, helps you make a habit of following the one rule. No matter what age your kids are, this exercise helps ensure a strong start and makes following the one rule so much easier. Here is an understanding that might make following the one rule even easier. Recently, I asked myself a question. What do I want people to feel when they're connecting with my work? I definitely want them to feel good about themselves. Then the following answer appeared to my surprise and delight. I want people to realize that they are already using the one rule. That understanding surprised me, and as more and more of it was revealed to me, it delighted me. Of course, people are already using the one rule. I'm not teaching them anything they don't know. I'm not teaching them anything strange to them. I'm just helping them expand their use of something they use daily without thinking about it. They use it. You use it. Every time you come to a decision inside of yourself, you're using the one rule. Most likely you had to consider several options or possibilities to reach that decision, even if it just took you a few seconds for you to agree with yourself. That is what I want. That is what I'll do. You also use the one rule whenever you agree with someone else. Together you come to a decision, an agreement. Yes, tomorrow I'll go to the auto parts store before I go grocery shopping. Even with your kids, you're using the one rule. You are coming to agreements. Think about it. Of course you are. You're just not thinking of it as a rule, as something required. So at times you are not coming to agreement. I'm here to help you think of coming to agreement as required, as a rule, as the one rule. You just expand the situations where you come to agreement until coming to agreement is just what you do and your kids do. It is the rule you and your kids follow. When you use the one rule, you are creating harmony. Your kids are creating harmony. You are becoming used to creating harmony, familiar with how good it feels to everyone involved. One point to be clear on is that even if a situation seems complicated and it seems that it is impossible to find a solution that everyone involved can feel good about, it is still possible. An important thing to remember is that there is a way for things to work so that everyone involved gets to feel good. Keep that in mind. This has been my experience whenever I have made this effort. A clear, helpful way to introduce the one rule to your kids actually originates from the first time the children introduced me to what is now the one rule. You can do what I did. So they could understand what we were doing. I told the two little girls 3 things. 1, you are each important. Point to each person involved. You are important and you are important. And if it is your problem too, I am important. 2, you or we each deserve to feel good. 3, we can use the one rule to find a solution that feels good to each of you or us. Then tell them what the one rule is. When you actually start working with your kids using the one rule, helping them follow their interests is one of the easiest ways for you to start. That makes sense, right? It is also one of the most beneficial things you can do for your kids. Why is it good for your kids to do what interests them? One primary reason is that their interest is a key to helping them become the best versions of themselves that they can become. When we do what interests us, we are very engaged and focused. Think about doing something that interests you. When we are engaged and focused, what we do and produce tends to be of much better quality than if we were not interested. Interest helps result in excellence. An even more important result of being engaged and focused is that our whole being is involved in what interests us. That is why we are engaged and focused. We are experiencing harmony, inner harmony. That is a good reason to allow and encourage our kids to do what they are interested in doing. I have observed children doing what really interests them, and they become peaceful, harmonious people, even if they were not before. It doesn't mean that everything that interests our kids is going to always interest them. They may be interested for their lifetime or even for 10 years, or only 10 days or 10 minutes. The point is that they are following their interests, not the specific thing or experience that interests them, or the length of time it interests them. So if they ask for your help, please help your kids follow their interests. If, for any reason, you really do not want to do what they're asking you to do, that is a perfect time to use the one rule. Another reason for helping your kids follow their interests is one that is taking care of you too. When they are eager to do something, instead of resisting doing it, you do not have to encourage them to do it or insist that they do it, let alone force them to do it. Think of how much of your time and energy could be available for you to use as you wish. Helping them follow their interests is actually the one rule in action, taking care of you and your kids. I'm glad you're here. Okay, let's see. This is going really well. Now let's try this next slideshow. The one rule keeps peace in the family for you. When I started working on today's slideshow, I thought I understood certain things, but as I worked, more was revealed. Recently, there have been questions and concerns that using the one rule might not work. I understand where these concerns come from. After all, it is such a different approach than parents are in charge. Not only that, it is so simple. How can something that simple work? It just couldn't be that simple. And since it is simple, it must not really work. It's got to fail. It doesn't make sense. Although I really want everyone to adopt the one rule when relating to kids from birth onward, by just adding it to whatever way they parent now, I do understand the concerns, and I'm going to do my best to address them today. When I was first introduced by 3-year-old children to what I now call the one rule, I told them to help them understand what I wanted to help them understand what I wanted to help them do, that they were each important. Then I pointed to each of them and said, "You are important and you are important." They could agree with that. One little girl's awareness expanded to realize that they were both important. I saw it as her eyes lit up. I now realize that her eyes may have lit up because she thought of a solution. However, before thinking of that solution, she had to accept that the solution had to be something that they both liked. Until now, I've believed that her eyes lit up because she expanded her thinking to accept that both of them were important. Of course, that may be true. However, it is only now that I've come to realize that whether that is true or not, by following what is now known as the one rule, she found a peaceful, harmonious solution, a solution that was enjoyable for both of them. That is true for anyone who uses the one rule. There may be more than one peaceful solution, but it has been my experience working with kids that there is always at least one agreeable solution. No one has to believe that they are important or that the other person is important. But when a solution is discovered that all involved truly like, so they can agree to it, they are acting in peace. They are peace in action. This is built into the one rule. Even if people's awareness does not expand to include the importance of the other person, as long as they are following the one rule, they find a solution that they both like or they all like, and they agree to use that solution. The result is peace. They also get to feel good about themselves and their life. They are happy with the solution. It may not be the solution they originally thought of, but they like it anyway. That is why they agree to it. That is why they agreed to it. Think about how you feel when things are going away you want them to go. You feel good, right? Another thing I mentioned to those first 2 little girls was that they both deserve to have what they want, and that we were going to figure out how to do this. This is the main thing that people have trouble with. This is why people have trouble believing that the one rule works. They want something and someone else wants the same thing. Like the little girls both wanted to swing on the same swing, the only swing available. Whatever the situation, it seems that there is no way that both people could have what they want. They think that they have to give up on what they want or the other person does. That is the most common outcome. That is what people are used to. It's hard to realize that there is a peaceful solution. It's hard to accept a possibility that seems so uncommon. I just realized that when I promised, I vowed to never force my children to do what they did not want to do. I put myself in the perfect position to be open to peaceful answers. Peaceful solutions require that everyone involved agrees. This does not mean that they just say they agree, but that they fully, truly agree, because that solution is something that they like. So I have been using the one rule for at least 38 years. For most of those years, it was called the power of respect, and there were 108 respect tools, skills, and strategies I used to make it work. That's why I know I found a true solution, mighty enough to stand on its own. The one rule. In case some of you don't know, the one rule came into being one night when I wondered if people would actually have to learn the 108 tools, skills, and strategies I'd use to create respectful relationships with the kids in my life. That night, I asked myself, of the 108, what is the least that people need to know to be able to raise happy kids? The one rule was my answer, and that one rule is powerful enough to create peace between parents and kids, and powerful enough to be your fail-safe in your intention to raise happy kids. The one rule is peace in action. Here are a couple of examples of how the one rule can ensure happy kids and peace between adults and kids. My youngest daughter and my 6-year-old grandson were visiting. The one rule had just taken on its name. As I was explaining the process to them, my daughter used the word agreement to explain the process in one word. I liked it. I use it. It seems appropriate that the one rule has a one-word description. My grandson liked to watch TV and YouTube video cartoons. My daughter did not really want him to do that, especially as much as he wanted to. One time when he asked me to set up my laptop for him, I told him that I felt uncomfortable doing this because his mom did not feel good about it. I wanted to work this out with her too. He thought about this briefly and suggested that he and I play cards. So we did. We had fun. So here, all people involved were honored. Peace was maintained. Everyone felt cared about. Another example is from someone I coached on the one rule. One issue she had was feeling uncomfortable always buying her 5-year-old daughter things every time they went to the store, especially when her daughter was not behaving in ways she liked. She came up with an idea that they all liked. She made a chart of behavior that she liked. Her daughter could earn money for those behaviors and buy her own things. Her daughter liked earning money, and the parents liked the behavior. Here again, all people involved were honored. Peace was maintained, and everyone felt cared about. So I hope you'll join me in the movement to help kids grow up happy and in peace. Use the one rule. Become an affiliate or a partner. Earn 50% commission. Share this with many, many more. The affiliate and partner program are part of the Happy Kids business launch. Starting now. Join us. I'm glad you're here. Okay. Interesting. Let's see what we shall do next. We haven't had the chance to do this before, and everything's working smoothly. So I'm going to move this little picture out of the way here. Okay. I've wanted to do this for a while. I better move it down more. I've wanted to share the new website. So this is the first thing that you see when you come here. The one rule, because we are each important. And it was only when I was creating this that this became, I understood that this was the central point of this. The reason this one rule was revealed to me is because we are each important, and this empowers that. Now, I'm going to, this is what we did last time. See here, you can go check out the podcasts, videos, go to the YouTube channel, go read blog posts. I shared some of those today. There are many more here because it takes you actually to my WordPress blog. Actually, one of them, it's the main one that I use these days, though I do have several of them. Last week we went to the magazines. Let's go check that out right now. Okay, here's the first issue. There's an article by Batul in there, The One Rule in Women Empowerment. I think Brian Kasparidis has an article in there too. And here's the second issue. And this one, Batul has an interview with Mr. One Rule, which I find quite enjoyable. And there are different lessons. This is the one we covered last time. Lots of stories, a few lessons, and an article, Harmony as a Parent by Lisa Wasikowski. And here, Lisa's contributed a couple of articles to this, to the fourth magazine, which is in honor of my son Tao. I just went to his memorial. Life-changing experience. And here's endorsements, people who really like this work. let's go back home. And I'm going to show you. I could have gone to, I didn't have to go home. All right, here, let me show you what can happen here. If you scroll down, this is where you can sign up and you get the 1 Rule to Raising Happy Kids mini. Plus, you'll get on the email list. So you'll get the newest everything, newest and first and all of that. Okay, then this is, I mentioned the possibility of joining the member site for just $1.99 a month. This is a pretty long page. Okay. And it starts out with a quote from my Montessori trainer. We are not here to comfort children when they cry, but to see that they have no reason to cry. I always loved that from all the years ago that I wrote it down in a training. Then happy people not only get to feel good, but they do not deliberately hurt others. They help things be better. My work is to share the tools, skills, strategies I've discovered and developed that help kids grow up happy, respectful, confident. Let's help improve people's lives. This is from the ebook, The 1 Rule to Raising Happy Kids. Okay. Now here, if you want to donate to Happy Kids, including to a scholarship fund, you can do that. And here is one of the places where you can sign up for the membership. Let's see. I'm just gonna, I haven't done this for a while, even though I put it together. This whole website I put together. Okay, this is going to show you everything that you get. It's so amazing to me. I'm going to make it possible to buy these things, some of them anyway, one by one, if you want to, but to get them all for $1.99 a month is amazing. Okay. Here's what you get. I'm just gonna go through this quickly because look at that. All this, audios, ebooks, groups, Q&As, look at that. Trainings, 8 trainings, videos. Okay, now let's go back here. So join the member site, man. I don't see that changing. It's going to be available, but so go here. Go to this and then click on this and join the member site. I highly recommend it. Okay, here we go. Stop share. This is the end of today's show. I wish you all a great week. Really, really lots of enjoyment. And stop now.